What's going on YouTube? My name is Bill. This is KO Bets. We break down UFC fights every Friday night. I came from the brewery. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be a crazy show. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have some fun. There's a lot of new fighters on this card, but we got UFC Paris. Omelette du fromage. UFC Paris. And, yeah, we gotta go through this shit. Man, this is sloppy. This is sloppy, Bill. So, first off, I appreciate everyone who's subscribed to the channel thus far. We're at 66 subscribers. Upon hitting 100, we're gonna give away a UFC Strike Moment NFT. So if you want to participate in that, please subscribe to the stream. Please like the stream, you know what I mean. Subscribe to the channel, like the stream. Appreciate it. Let's go over the card last week. I woke up at like 3:30 a.m. in the morning to catch the fights last weekend. We had Holloway taking on the Korean Zombie. That was in Singapore. We picked Max, Anthony Smith. We got kind of lucky there. I thought the split decision could have gone either way. Obviously, Span had a much better showing. Giga Chikadze looked really good against lesser competition than what he's been facing lately. And Alex Caceres, who came in on short notice. Rinya Nakamura. If you had this go in the distance, you probably made a lot of money because I think everyone had inside the distance. Aaron Blanchfield, I didn't think that was a unanimous decision, but did pick her to win. And to be honest, she got beat up pretty bad round 1. I thought she got beat up round 2 and then maybe had a good showing in round 3, but she won somehow a unanimous decision, 29-28. Junior Tafa got that round 1 KO, which was sick. Cortez Acosta won. Picked him. Garrett Armfield got the KO. We picked him. I picked Chidi Njokwani. Michael Olajaychuk won that fight. I picked Rolando Bedoya. Song Kanan looked much better. And, you know, it's just like one of those things. Rolando was coming in with a lot of hype off of a loss. Like, it's always risky putting money on someone who looks good in a loss. Billy Goff I took Yasuka Kinoshita, but I also did inside the distance. Yasuka 0-2 thus far in the UFC. JJ Aldrich got the round 2 finish, and Sungwoo Choi got the win. So did a little bit of, when in doubt, the home cooking's never bad. Same goes for this week, Gane versus Spivac. I don't have notes put together like I typically would, and that's just a byproduct of a very busy week of work, and yeah, so let's get into it. We have Zara Farn taking on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Let's pull up their shirt, dogs. It's going to be annoying because this is going to keep popping up here, but I don't know, just got to disable ad blocker or whatever so they can spam me. 6-5 professionally. She is 0-3 in the UFC. Zara is 2 finish losses, 1 decision loss. She's taking on Jacqueline, who's coming in here with a 5-1 professional record, making her UFC debut. Looking at the 2 fighters, I mean, Zara Fern has the better level of competition, but I'm going to go with the newcomer, Jacqueline, in this fight. She is the heavy favorite. Not a smart idea to hang that amount of money on a person making their debut. However, and then we've got some home cooking in Zara Fern, so I don't think it's a bad idea to hang the money on Zara Fern, especially if this goes to a decision, which I think it will. Odds makers, it's a pick-em basically for that, but if you like the decision only, Zara Fern, probably not a bad value at plus 215 there. I would say that Jacqueline's going to win a decision at plus 150. Just not super comfortable betting she's such a heavy favorite for making her debut, and the girl she's fighting is also French, and I think there's something to be said about that. These fighters are put in a position to grow the sport. This fight's taking place in Paris, so it makes sense to go with the person from Paris, even though she's 0-3. Next fight, we've got Farid Basharat taking on Clayton Rodriguez. Clayton Rodriguez is stepping up in weight class for the first time. The Basharat bros are just like outstanding, fighting out of England. Really good output on the feet, really good wrestling, really well-rounded. Love Basharat in this spot as a potential parlay piece. He is also minus 395. I feel substantially better about his probability to win than I do about Jacqueline making her UFC debut at the same odds. Odds makers do like this to go the distance. At the end of the day, the Basharats they kind of stylistically figure out how to win fights. We haven't seen the finishing prowess of either of them yet. Looking at their win-by percentage, Farid, Farid does have that takedown in his back pocket, and he should use that early in this fight when Clayton's most dangerous and quickest. So I'm going to go with Farid Basharat decision in this fight. Not going to hang the minus 115, but like his money line odds as a potential parlay piece and round robin piece. The next fight we've got is Nora Cornoli taking on Jocelyn Edwards. Nora Cornoli does have a path to victory in this fight. That is to take down Jocelyn Edwards, wear on her, get to the third round, and put her out of there with some ground and pound. Jocelyn Edwards is going to be the better striker, in my opinion, in this fight, but she is just so awful with the takedown defense. And then once she gets to the mat, she kind of tends to get stuck there. That being said, I think Nora does have a path to victory, but she is, I believe, making her UFC debut. And Jocelyn Edwards does have a significantly better resume than Nora, just from an experience perspective. I think this will be a close fight, a decision. Look at that, KO submission. I kind of like Jocelyn Edwards in this spot just to use her experience and her veteran prowess to come away with the win. She is the slight favorite at minus 130. I do agree with the odds makers. I think this is going to go the distance. They have yes at minus 150. I kind of like that better than just betting on the Jocelyn Edwards decision at plus 150. Kind of covers you both ways for the Norma decision and the Jocelyn Edwards decision. The next fight we've got is Anglusa taking on Reese McKee. Anglusa, let's pull up some of his stats. 9-3 professionally, taking on Ryan Reese McKee. Anglusa 1-1 in the UFC, just coming off the win of AJ Fletcher, who's pretty good. Lots of power. 5 out of 9 wins, it looks like, come via KO. He's 3-3 in decisions. If this goes to a decision, you gotta favor the output, in my opinion, of Reese McKee, but he's very hittable. So I think Anglusa is in a good spot to get a highlight finish in this spot. He is the favorite. Going with Anglusa here, probably knockout is what I would propose. Odds makers, it's a pick'em again for this one to go the distance. Anglusa, the knockouts at plus 275, the decisions at plus 175. To be frank, I don't know if there's a round robin piece or a parlay piece in that fight for me, but I like Anglusa in that fight. The next fight we've got is Taylor Lapilus taking on Kowalin Logren. Taylor Lapilus, 18-3 professionally, taking on the newcomer Kowalin Logren. I think both of these fighters were set to fight someone different, and now they're fighting each other at UFC. Logren is knocking a lot of people out. I think the longer this fight goes, it sways in favor of Taylor. Logren is very hittable. Looking at the win buys, Taylor has primarily submission victories on his resume. I'm going to keep it simple and just go with the home cooking and Taylor Lapilus here. Odds makers do like this to go the distance. I think it's going to be very close, but if that's the case, I'm going to go with the hometown fighter and Taylor Lapilus to win via decision. Both of these fighters are super tough. I'd probably do the over 2.5 as a round robin piece or a parlay piece, as opposed to betting on the money line in this fight. The next fight we're on the main card here, is Morgan Charrier taking on Manila Zecchini. Both of these fighters are making their UFC debuts. Again, I just think you're putting French athletes in a position to be successful. So we've got Morgan as the heavy favorite here as minus 350. Odds makers do not like this to go the distance at minus 165. I'd have to agree. I like the Morgan KO here, and I like it fairly early if you're doing a same game parlay. The next fight we've got is William Gomez taking on Giannis Gamori. I wasn't a huge fan of what I saw out of William Gomez against Francis Marshall, to be honest. Low output kicks, but and grappling ability is what we basically get in William Gomez, but the volume's super low, right? So if this goes to a decision, I think it could be a closer fight than the line indicates with the minus 205 favorite with William Gomez. I do think Gomez wins this fight. I think he has the tools to win. I would just like to see his approach change a little bit, be a little more aggressive in the striking department, get more volume out there, connect, even if it's just leg kicks or whatever. He's the more well-rounded fighter heading into this, and I think he's just got to, implement some grappling in a couple of rounds and get that volume up, and he should be able to win this pretty convincingly. So I'm going to go with William Gomez here. Odds makers like the decision. Stylistically, what we saw from William Gomez, I'd have to agree. I do think there is a grappling advantage, so the submission is kind of an interesting value in my opinion, but I do think it's going to be a William Gomez via decision at plus 100 there. The next fight we've got is Volkan Ozdemir taking on Bogdan Guskov. Volkan's taking a big step down in competition here. He's fought tons of different veterans in the UFC. Krylov had the loss, beat Paul Craig very convincingly, lost to Ankalaev, lost to Yuri, Rakic, Latifi, Reyes, Smith. Has fought some really Cormier has fought some really high level competition, and I just think this is a step down. Bogdan, he's a round one or bust kind of fighter. Huge knockout prowess early in fights. If he doesn't tag Volkan Ozdemir, I think he could get knocked out, so I do like the knockout prop in this fight. But I'm going to roll with the veteran in Volkan Ozdemir, who's taking a step down. Like the odds at -175 on the money line. Over-unders at 1.5. I think if Ozdemir wins, it's probably going to be outside of round one if he does get a finish. So we're talking rounds 2 and 3. I kind of like the over 1.5. I kind of like inside the distance, though, at -500. I'd say I like the Volkan Ozdemir KO, but I'm going to just go with money line at -185 as opposed to the knockout at -110 there. The next fight we've got is Benoit Saint Denis taking on Thiago Moises. This is going to be a really, really good fight, in my opinion. You got two grapplers going up against each other. Benoit Saint Denis is coming off the victory versus Ismail Bonfim, who was coming in with a lot of hype. Benoit was the heavy underdog in that fight and was just kind of connecting on these body shots that, for whatever reason, Bonfim was just taking. And you could tell he got hurt early in that fight. I thought it was kind of a gimmicky win, if I'm being honest. I think Benoit Saint Denis is a good fighter, but I thought that was kind of a gimmicky win. I thought Bonfim, if he didn't take that damage off of those leg kicks, probably would have won that fight in a 3-round decision. Benoit Saint Denis is super durable, super tough, so I don't know if we're going to see a finish in this fight, but I do want to kind of fade Benoit Saint Denis, who just had success with that body kick in his last one. If this fight is on the feet, I actually kind of like Thiago Moises as a striker minus those heavy kicks, but I'm going to go with Thiago Moises just as the more well-rounded fighter. So this will be, I believe, our first underdog pick of the card. Rolling with Thiago Moises at +140. I like, because I'm going with Thiago Moises and because what's-his-face, Saint Denis is so durable, I kind of like the decision and agree with that at +330 for Thiago Moises. But I could also see maybe not a knockout, but a submission at some point from either of these fighters, but just if someone gets tired, I think that could happen. But I'm going to roll with the underdog in Thiago Moises. The next fight we've got is Manion Fiorot taking on Rose Namajunas. I have a futures bet on Manion Fiorot to be the champion of this division by the end of the year. I'm super impressed with her striking. Rose Namajunas is one of my favorite fighters of all time, probably my favorite female fighter to watch, minus that Esparza fight. I think she's just extremely talented as a boxer, really entertaining. So this should be a stand-up fight, but Rose is going up in weight, and this is a tough opponent in my opinion, in Manion, who does tend to slow down a little bit as the longer the fight goes, but she carries incredible power, and honestly, I could see her hurting Rose at some point in this fight and getting the finish, but I'm going to roll with the favorite and home cooking in Manion Fiorot. -198. I don't know if I'm going to bet on that line, but I like it. Odds makers think this will go to a decision. I'll be I think maybe there's a little bit of value on the Mannion KO. She didn't get it her last fight, but she does possess really, really good power in the striking department. So I'm going to go with Mannion Fiora. Maybe sprinkle that knockout prop at plus 275 for her. And then now we're on to the main event. We've got Cyril Gane taking on Sergey Spivac. Sergey Spivac, wrestler. Cyril Gane, stand-up artist. Cyril Gane's one of the most talented heavyweights I've ever seen fight. You look at him, Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall, John Jones. I doubt John Jones fights any of these guys, but Cyril Gane, I do think, is capable of being a belt holder at some point in time, just because he is the way he moves, not many heavyweights can do that. He's taking on Sergey Spivac, who I think needs to grapple in order to win this fight. I think regardless of who wins, this is going to end inside the distance. I like the Sergey Spivac submission. I like the Cyril Gane knockout. I'm going to roll with Cyril Gane as the winner here. I think he's just the more talented fighter. I think his footwork is outstanding, and that'll put him in a great position to avoid takedowns from Sergey Spivac. Just don't get taken down early, especially early. Don't get taken down if you're Cyril Gane. That'll be rough, but I'm going to roll with Cyril Gane. Love the money line odds at minus 198. I think if he's able to keep this fight on the feet, he wins in dominating fashion with a knockout. Odds makers have the over-under set at 2.5 rounds. I'd say I like the under at minus 160, but this is a 5-round fight. I could see a 3rd-round KO, which could hit the under 2.5. It could not, but I kind of like the 3rd-round KO by Cyril Gane. I like the money line better than the 105 odds there. And then if we're looking at the fight parlays, let's see where it is. Cyril Gane round 3 KO is at plus 900. I might sprinkle some of these 2 to 4 round KO props just because I think you can make up your money there. I think he gets the KO in round 3, but I also wouldn't be surprised if someone gets finished in round 1 in this fight. But I'm gonna roll with Cyril Gane round 3 knockout. So that concludes UFC Fight Night, Gane vs. Spivac, taking place in Paris, 11 a.m. Central Time is when the prelims start. 2 p.m. Central Time is when the main card starts. Sorry to rush through this so quickly. It's just so late. I've got an early tea time tomorrow. I've been at the brewery today, went golfing. Little discombobulated, you feel me? Let's check out trending topics. A Stephen A. Smith document could be in the works. Who gives a fuck about Stephen A. Smith, honestly? Louisville, Georgia Tech, Bohm, Verlander. Oh, I did play some MLB bets. Let's see what I did. Draftkings has these 50% odds boosts, so I like to place one parlay with the 50% odds boost. And I'm not sure who I picked. Robin, and I'm sure we're doing okay on that. Damn, I lost. I did Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. Both of those teams lost. Cleveland won 3-2. Boston lost to Kansas City 13-2. Wow. Wow. Yeah, my picks tonight were awful in MLB. For the remaining games, I think I took the Angels, Toronto, Baltimore, San Diego, Atlanta. So I've got 1, 2, 3 out of the next 5 games. It looks like we're going to win, but not a great night of MLB betting. But who cares? I'm going to sign off. I appreciate you tuning in. Sorry to make this such a poor quality showing, but, sometimes life gets in the way and And, I do this. I got a full-time job. I got other stuff going on, and this week it got in the way a little bit. You can always reach out to me on Twitter at Bill Callahan at 992. I'll try and post some pics and make some commentary during the fights tomorrow. Looking forward to watching those. I have a 6:20 tee time. Should be home before 11 to catch the start of the prelims. And just if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But I appreciate you tuning in. This is KO Bets. My name is Bill. Please subscribe to the channel, like the stream. Appreciate it. Peace.